Hello, everybody. We are back, and we have, I think, what should be one of the matches of the tournament. We're back with match three between third seeded DC and fourth seeded OC here in the Hell Let Loose Summer Invitational. And we are on Flak Pits, a map that I don't think either team is super well prepared for. Maybe they are, I don't know. But I am really excited for this. And I am joined in the booth yet again by Jem, and it's kind of late where he is. So I appreciate, Jem, you sticking on and staying with us as we bring this match live.
I have not disappeared anywhere.
It's awesome. So, Flak Pits is a chaotic strong point. It's a neutral one, so there's no worries about attack or defense. It's just a pure neutral one. It's a massive uphill, downhill. There's so many places to maneuver on the very top of the map, on the very bottom. Like there's just so many places to get around. So I think the key, excuse me, I think the key of this one is going to be which team flanks in better numbers and more effectively.
Yeah, this is really interesting to see what OC is currently doing. That they have stacked all three squad leaders on the southern garrison, not on the north. Like there's nobody on the north really, except for some blueberries. And if I remember right from the last year, we always sent at least one squad leader to flank on the north side, and maybe even get an outpost behind the lines to start putting pressure from the behind, while the rest of the squads are just fighting and stalemating it on the strong point. But right now, it looks like they are going to send all three squad leaders closer to strongpoint and fight for it right away.
And
It's kind of closer to them, on the map at least, the circle. But it's really small.
I will say DC sending their last match. They had Nvidia out on the flank on his own, and they're going to do the same thing. DC sending their entire team south side of Flak Pits, and just a single player is going to flank around. So this should be really fascinating. I don't really know what to make of the starts from either teams here.
It's
Uh,
going to be a bloodbath, I guess.
yeah, and I guess I feel like if either team had done even a little bit of prep heading into this, they would know that the very north side of this map is an absolutely incredible angle to sneak players through and to get around. And I am curious, DC elected to play Axis here on Flak Pits, and I thought part of the reason why they wanted Axis was so that they could do exactly that. And just right now, they've just got a single player up there. I would have sent maybe two or three down there. So I
Oh,
mean,
actually, squad
interesting.
leader moved in there. They just recognized that.
Oh, did they send someone else down there?
Yeah, Aztec actually has deployed there now.
Oh, okay, for the OC side. Okay, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So they've so that's I think for OC that's actually a really good move, because they're gonna have a huge number advantage on that flank, and if they can secure it quickly, I think they're willing to allow DC to have a little bit of control up on that hill. So this is going to be really fascinating. And I do think, we've been playing since 3 o'clock Eastern. We're now 2 hours deep, and we're just about to get started. 15 seconds. I do think there's a little bit of fatigue setting in. It's a Sunday evening in Europe, so I think it's also going to come down to like which team is less tired, and I think that's the team that wins.
No, I disagree with the tiredness factor. I don't think it plays a really big role here. It's more about how competitive the players are, because essentially not a lot of people like losing.
That's true. And maybe there's enough adrenaline pumping through these first two matches. I would hope so, to counteract some of the fatigue. But I'd have to imagine there's a little bit. Um, so already we're seeing that. Okay, so interesting choice. I really, it's just one player, but I'm so interested. Nvidia, right? Like, what is his play here? Is he just here to hold an angle? Is he here to just try and do what he can alone? Is he here to try and flank?
I
Like,
think he's just to scout out what's going on there. He usually plays recon sniper as well in 50, so I
okay,
think that fits
that's
his
some good
playstyle.
intel. That's some good intel. So he's someone worth keeping an eye on, because I think that OC is gonna end up with a fairly decent advantage. Although it looks like that squad is moving, the squad that had spawned north side is now moving towards the strong point a little bit more and just sending two guys on the flank. So it's a rifleman duel on the side here.
What I don't like though is that the squad from OC that is on the north side, the squad leader actually shifted more towards the point instead of trying to flank. So they're just playing passively right now, both teams.
And they're about to run into each other here in the main trench line. We're going to zoom in on this a lot this game. But Templeton and Golreven are here. They're about to run into the lead elements of DC. We look for some grenades and rockets to come out here.
OC should have better sightlines actually on the strong point right now at this very moment in time, but they're not using that right now because they're not on the hill. The only guy that actually has good sightlines right now is Frage or Frache.
Yeah, he's the only one really kind of sitting in a position to look down. I agree.
Yeah.
Interesting. OC gets a little aggressive there on the southern hill, and they actually push down a little further.
They're losing the gunfights on the southern hill.
Yeah, they are losing those gunfights. So that's something that they need to be paying attention to. That's not really a fight that they can afford to lose, I don't think.
I totally agree. I think the south side hill is really important at this very moment because it's essentially a hill that you would want to use for a box out. And you don't even have to push really far away from that hill. Like that blue road that you can see there, no, but purple road has really good silence all around everything on the east side of Flak pits.
Absolutely. Looks like neither team is really moving around on this northern flank, kind of leaving it alone. DC getting some decent concentration now on the backside of the hill, and there's an automatic rifleman that got up the hill, kind of slipped through. Who is this? This is Clippy for DC. He has slipped through, so be interesting to see if Clippy can do something with that position. Oh, no, he goes down, so that's a good recognition from the OC side. And strong point going in DC's direction, but just by a little bit, not too much.
I think Johnny just given the really important information about the enemy outpost potential placement.
Yep, he's just marked it, so that's really, really good recognition there. Good work from DC, good communication. You know, right now, I think OC has better map control, but DC is being a lot more aggressive with what they do have. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're like, yep, I've got this, and I'm pushing. Whereas OC is taking a much more passive approach. I think that's interesting.
And OC definitely didn't use the north side that much. Miley is currently trying to push out, but he's not even hugging the edge of the map, I think, where he could be to get behind. So Nvidia and Miley just switched the sides. Maybe Nvidia actually gets anywhere closer on the north side to Aztec's outpost. Let's see if Makarovich or Templeton sees him.
Yeah, and let's see here. Makarovich is looking downhill, but not looking where he is, and he is shooting, so NVIDIA's going to know where that MG is, so he's got to be careful. NVIDIA...
Yeah, but the outpost is slightly further, so...
Okay. Oh, and he drops him. That's a really nice one.
I think he should be less trigger happy, though.
I agree, but it is Hill 400. It is chaotic. Let's see. It's a 1v1 shaping up here between Fani and NVIDIA. Oh, and then Fani gets him. So, yeah, so you're right. Trigger discipline would have been better there.
Well, Miley has done exactly what I would have done at the start of the game. Get in the flank right away. And he's actually really close to the outpost of Justpin.
And Templeton also really starting to move up right on the front side there as we pivot over. Miley drops NVIDIA, who we just saw, and he's pushing on Sirius.
Should be able to get him as well.
Oh, Sirius gets Miley. So that's a really good pickup there from Sirius. He's able to protect the outpost. And Templeton goes down as well. So DC protecting their outpost. Like, DC staying alive here, right? Like, I think OC has better control, but at the same time, DC still in decent position and, like, you know, a play or two, and they could really kind of influence the map heavily.
The most important fight right now is on the south, and it looks like DC are actually not counting kills. Like, they kill guys, but they don't count how much they killed, so they don't push out right away. They're playing a little bit too slow. Even though they know that they're fighting a 6-man squad there on the north side. South side, I mean.
We're seeing a really nice front line now developing, although, as I say that, I'm going to pivot all the way to the north. we do have Burn, BRN from OC, has moved up, and he is utilizing that very northern side to use as a flank. And he. Is he looking for Sirius? Does Sirius know? I think they're looking for each other. I can't tell. Burn is looking for somebody. I don't know if Sirius is. So, be curious to see. Let's just keep an eye on that. Will teams continue to use that northern flank to get around? Burn right now using it. And DC just has a single rifleman, probably NVIDIA. Yep, NVIDIA there. He's the only player from DC really on that section of the map whatsoever. So a lot of responsibility being dropped to him. Be curious to see how he handles it.
Steven's really close to spot enemy outpost. And Ninja will only have to move the outpost right now as well. If he gets killed and Steven gets the outpost, it's going to be really bad.
I think they're sensing somebody's up there. And we do finally see, after nearly 8 minutes, capture comes in for OC on the strong point, which means we do need to see DC reset outposts. Baker, all three just go back up. So really, really good from DC. All outposts get reset. Steven goes down. So yeah, OC grabs the zone after a while, but DC able to reestablish, and I think we're kind of back to where we were just a few seconds ago.
I think really what teams are currently making a mistake, quite a big one, not utilizing the north side right now, because essentially the team that actually pushes on the north side, you're putting that pressure from a different flank, and it's really uncomfortable place to defend downhill, right? You need to watch from uphill, downhill, and it's really not great. There's a lot of opportunities to flank the point and get inside the strong point, or at least nade it from north side.
Yes.
I think DC are underutilizing it right now.
Although we are seeing capture progress, so DC doing something here. They're getting some bodies in, so that's good. Going to force OC to maybe stack some more bodies inside of the strong point. This is Bliker, Clippy. 2 squad leads, actually, from DC, pushing this really hard. Fenrir and Breakpoint doing what they can here. Justbin's coming up on Fenrir. He's got to see him, right? He's right next to him. Or is there a lip there?
Oh, Burn just spotted NVIDIA. NVIDIA spotted the Burn. Really far away, though. I don't know why. Is there a proximity on the outpost?
Maybe
is there any outpost next to Burn?
Not super close. There was one in the like 70 meters, maybe. It wasn't flashed.
It got marked incorrectly then. But yeah, DC look like in a good spot right now on the strong point.
Yeah.
It seems like they fought off them on the north side, south side hill, which is giving them much better angles on the strong point right now, and they can just shoot and nade those smokes.
Yeah, this is impressive. This is like really nice right now from DC. They're holding on, right? Like, it's so important in this game mode when you lose control of the strong point, all 3 of your squad leaders have to stay alive, and you've got to reset. And DC instantly reset all outposts. They were able to keep all of their old positioning. OC was able to win the battle of attrition on the circle, but that was really it. And so, like, the match didn't really change. And, like, look at the concentration of DC players now on the backside of Flak pits. That is a lot of players.
They have good spacing as well.
And I mean, they're not really anywhere else on the map, right? But they're capturing, so that's what they need to do.
And yeah, not having any squad like pushing behind right now is quite a big problem. Like even 2 guys pushing right now.
As you say that, it looks like Ninja Pulver has broken through on the very southern side. He is alone.
You get Steven's outpost?
I don't know. You'd have to tell me. He killed Steven.
He did. Yeah, Steven's outpost is gone.
And Steven's dead. So now that is a big play for DC. They're going to get control of the southern hill. There's no one from OC there to do anything about it. So, DC has nothing.
You know what Ninja's been doing? He's been doing some big mistake, not moving outposts when he should. And right now, he should be moving the outpost instead of pushing. He needs to gain that ground that he just took.
Well, let's see. And now it flips back. So, okay, the squad leader Breakpoint now in trouble here for OC. He's kind of surrounded. He's got a lot of people looking in his direction. So Breakpoint's going to try and get his outpost reestablished here. But I think OC in a little bit of trouble now. Steven going down the way he did was a big setback. And
it was inevitable, though, because they were outgunned all the time on that south side hill.
Well, now Breakpoint is moving back up that hill, and you're right. Like Ninja is way forward, but he hasn't moved his outpost. It's still
I
well
don't
far
understand.
behind.
They just gave up the ground again.
Right, and that is questionable, right? Because now is the OP up for Breakpoint on the hill?
I think so. Yeah, the guys just spawned in there.
So like that's a question mark, right? Like, Breakpoint goes down, Epla goes down, but it is interesting. Like, you're right. Ninja should have taken the time to set his OP up on the top of that hill. That would have been the right play. And now you're going to see Steven is going to come back in full numbers right back to his old position, and there's just a single member of DC there to deal with him. I mean, that is kind of maybe a tactical miscue from DC there.
They just don't know how to box out on this point. I think they haven't scouted it out that well. Because essentially, that's a really a play that's you have to do. Essentially, when you fight off that hill, because that's why are you fighting for that hill? Because it has so much good sightlines.
So now we're seeing it kind of mixed. You're seeing Ninja still in the back. Oh, he does go down, and he doesn't. So Ninja now really, he did a great job. He clears the top of the hill. His squad pushes through. They kill everybody. And then, like, it didn't really amount to anything because the outpost doesn't move. And maybe Ninja's nervous about moving the outpost up, which I can understand. But he had a solid 30, 40 seconds there of complete control of that hill. Could have reestablished it, get his squad set up there. And now, look, Steven's moving right back into his old position. So that is definitely a bit of a miscue there from DC, I think.
Let's write it off to the map knowledge.
And it's interesting, the fight has now really kind of moved away from the strong point and to north and south of the strong point. We were seeing massive pilings of people in and around Flak pits for a while there. And now DC is really the only team that's got good concentration. They got about a full squad. There's like 3-4 guys on the periphery there for OC. As a reminder, DC in blue, OC in orange here. But again, DC pushing really hard, right? Look at the north side of the map. I mean, there's not a single DC player in the 3 column.
But they're starting to realize that right now. You can see that NVIDIA is starting to move there, and Alexi is kind of sitting behind, also watching that direction. They're not. They're too late though, like because Templeton and Miley already pushed past. But you can see NVIDIA is trying to be like safe about this.
Yeah. Now, what kind of damage can these 2 players from OC do? Right? Like,
quite a lot.
They could do a lot.
If you remember the last year tournament games, and on this point, just one guy sneaking past in every other matchup, getting into the trench and getting that one or two outposts, and that turns around the whole thing on the strong point. Like, it's so easy to get inside the into that trench and just get that outpost down.
100%. And Templeton now really on the move, and DC has not. DC's got no idea, and a bunch of DC players just dropped just now.
Yeah, and it's happening from Gulraven. You see, like, Gulraven is just sitting on the hill and just shooting from there. He can see those trenches. It's not even the guys pushing behind shooting them.
A really core gets a big kill on Templeton in the backfield there. That was a very, very important kill for DC to secure because Templeton was kind of alone back there. I think he flashed Baker Outpost, and that's what kind of spooked core. But so far, DC now, like, they had pushed all the way past that southern hill, right? I mean, they had the southern hill, and then they just didn't set up on it, and now, like, OC has just walked right back in, and they've got control of it again. So
looks like this game's going to be really back and forth.
Yeah, this is going to be crazy back and forth. Like, both teams not fully taking advantage of positions that they open up. And now, like, again, DC is going for a more concentrated approach. DC is sending a lot of their numbers.
Look at Miley, though.
Oh, he is behind.
He just let 2 guys to pass him, so they have fake security feeling. And we're heading into the second part of the game.
Yep, 15 minutes to go, a little under 15. So far, it's been back and forth. I mean, I think the strong point has been contested for the majority of the match, right? I mean, it didn't get captured for the first 8 minutes, and then it's basically just been back and forth the whole time. So definitely looks like overtime candidate thus far. But still plenty of match to go.
What we can see though is that on the south side hill, OC currently are actually outnumbering the DC because DC are putting more pressure onto the strong point and actually spreading out on the road, not letting OC to push up. So essentially, instead of pushing now on the south side hill and putting pressure on the outpost, Ninja's squad is actually just holding on the line.
If OC wins this game, I think we come back to that moment, right? Like if OC, like if the point does not flip at all and OC holds on here, I really feel like, or sorry, DC currently holding the strong point, but if OC captures back here, I feel like I'm going to come back to that and be like, that was really an opportunity to set up control that was missed. And we are now seeing constantly here as he goes down, but OC is really starting to try to get around this backside, and it's forcing DC to sit players on the very, very back, like literally like E4 numpad 5 to deal with that. So pretty much all of DC is kind of pinholed into like, 100 square meters of the map, and OC has kind of got really solid map control wide right now, I would say.
Okay, Ninja is going for a play again. He just got some guys on the south side.
Yes, we're going to zoom in on that.
And the outpost actually is quite far. Where the Steven right now is, like more to the west, no, east of him.
Ninja now moving in on this southern hill that we've been talking about. Now, is he going to move his outpost?
I don't think so.
I don't think he's going to move it yet, but he should think about it soon. That's the difference maker for me. If DC can just get control of the hill in Ninja Pulver's position, that is a whole new game.
He's playing very, very secure. I don't know. I disagree with Ninja Pulver in these games, in this matchup. In all 3 games, I think, in what he did.
Yeah, I feel like he's got really good ideas, but he doesn't fully take advantage of the space that he creates. And he goes down there. So, like, he had an opportunity, again, to maybe set something up a little bit closer, but he's electing to keep that OP in a safe spot. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Does Able Outpost get moved up at some point? Does it stay in that safe location? I mean, granted, DC, we shouldn't be too hard on them. I mean, they do have control of the strong point right now. This is theirs. So, it is up to OC to push, and maybe, with 11 minutes to go, maybe that's how Ninja's feeling. Is like, look, I don't want to get over aggressive here. I'd rather stay back a little bit, get control of the hill, fight for it. Maybe that's how they feel. But, now we're seeing OC coming in good numbers right up the middle here towards the strong point.
OC needs to move the outpost. Breakpoint needs to move the outpost closer to strong point and just YOLO it. Throw smokes to the point to get the outpost close and just rush the middle point.
And we got 11 minutes to go here. And it's been back and forth, but, so far, OC not able to get that final 20, 30 meters that they need to get to the strong point. DC doing a nice job.
They don't move the outpost, and they just keep running and running, and essentially just giving up so much time for DC to come back into position.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's definitely a missed opportunity. Both teams being super conservative with outposts. I think that's the theme, right? I mean, they're just really not risking outposts. But at some point, one of these teams is going to have to do it. And it's gonna be OC with 10 minutes to go here, 10 minutes and change. OC is going to be forced to move these outposts closer eventually. They're not going to have a choice. As we see, Core is now moving on the very north side here.
All 3 squad leaders are now like getting into the strong, and Breakpoint just moved the outpost. Good job. I would have probably moved it even more closer, potentially, but I think it's in a good distance. Much better than it was before. I really feel like OC is in a really good spot right now to cap the point.
Yes, they are. And, this fight on the Southern Hill is ongoing, and it keeps going back and forth. And Ninja is tying up a good number of OC players on the South Hill. But as I say that, you're seeing a full squad now of OC are moving into the Black Circle. Although OC just got wiped on the Southern Hill entirely.
Yeah, it's gonna get down to DC recognizing that they're controlling the Southern Hill and start flanking them. But if they're gonna sit on that hill, they're gonna lose the strong point right now.
Ninja needs to move his OP. Oh, he did move it up a little bit. Ninja did move his OP a little bit closer, so that's good on him. It's about 30, 40 meters closer than it was, so that's gonna help them. But now
Johnny just fighting for 4 guys, probably.
Ooh, and OC dropping like flies right now in the circle. They had a lot of numbers, and then a lot of them died very quickly. So, I mean, 10 minutes to go now. I mean, OC really got to find some answers.
You
They've
can instantly see that OC just lost the southern hill, and that they just got picked up from the guys in the strongpoint and also from the hill. It's so important, the positioning in this map.
yes, and we're seeing Core here alone on the north side. He's keeping eyes on this OC flank. What do you think OC does here? Do they just go all in the middle? Do they try to recapture the southern hill and then flank down? Like, what's the play? Like, how does OC win this game with 8 minutes to go?
Well, they should have kept on sending out somebody behind to put pressure and like move some people away from the strong point. I still feel like they should be putting pressure a lot on the strong point right now, putting smokes, throwing nades, and just rushing in with 2 squads almost, and then 1 squad pushing out on the southern hill right now. I think they're trading kills quite well. It's just that they need to make a play on the south hill right now. Like, I don't know, throw smokes at them and then just run, keep running.
I will tell you that kills are fairly even here. There's no runaway kills for either team. I think it's pretty much even. So both teams doing a good
right
job.
now, OC is really in a good spot to push. Like, they just traded a lot of kills, and they're actually more in numbers. At least were around the circle. So they're inches away, actually, from pushing DC away.
Yep, and they are starting to get captured. And look at this. I mean, the strong point covered in smoke right now. OC trying to advance in. And it looks like DC maybe, like, again, like that squad that's on the hill is now moving down to try and impact, like, who's pushing in. But that is leaving. And as I say, that Ninja goes down. And now maybe there's an opening. Steven up there. They could maybe push through. Big opportunity for OC right now if they can push through these remaining players on the hill. Another one goes down. So if Steven could push here and flank down below the hill, he could maybe grab both OPs from the DC side. So Steven has about 30, 40 seconds here to really impact the match. He's getting held up by just 2 guys from DC. And the full squad respawns back in. So it's a little too slow. I think Steven a little content to just have the capture progress come in. That's fine. All of DC in and around Flak pits right now.
I think one thing is that as long as you're capping, you just don't have to push. Like, you can just hold angles, right?
Yep.
But on the other hand, I also agree that if you win battle and you can count that you killed 4 guys, you need to hold that W and move swiftly.
Yeah. Absolutely. And 6 minutes to go. OC was getting some pretty good capture progress, but now it's going back the other direction. DC now starting to recapture the zone. I mean, OC getting tight on time. Not a lot of time now for OC to come up with something. They had an opportunity, I feel like, on that South Hill about 2 minutes ago, and they didn't take advantage. And so now OC, I think, is forced to do the only thing, and that is to just run right to the strong point with their entire team and try and capture with 5 minutes to
How
go.
much minutes did they have? 5?
5 minutes and change, yeah.
Okay, Burn can make a play.
Yeah, I mean, Burn has got to live. Burn has no time to do this again. So, like, this is it. Like, Burn has got to stay alive. He has to find these outposts, and he's got to do something to, like, really change the course of this match for his team, because right now, DC looks okay. Like, they're holding on. The outposts are in okay position. They're nice and close. Abel's still up on the hill. But if Burn can get in behind here,
should be able to get the outpost.
If he gets both quickly, that could really change this match. Like, quickly.
He'll get one, definitely.
He's just got to have fire discipline. This is the moment where Burn cannot fire his gun. And it is getting flashed, so someone's looking. Bleiker is looking. He knows. Oh, Burn goes down. So it gets flashed. The immediate pickup from DC. That could have been a big impact play there from Burn, and he's not able to take advantage. And there's so little time left on the board now, just under 5 minutes. I think the only thing OC has left to do is to just pile everyone in. DC is very weak
in strong point right now. You need to capitalize on that right now. And they're also not controlling the southern road, the blue road on the map. Like, Braypun, just push up there, kill Wakanda, push up, keep pushing. Teams are playing so defensively. I just can't understand that.
Yeah, it's a very slow game, kind of, right? Like, it's just like both teams just really trying to make sure they hold whatever ground they acquire. And like with 4 minutes to go, DC, I mean, look at the like nice spacing up on this hill. They've got good sight lines down. Like, OC just needs to throw smoke and get in and hope they can like, force an overtime. Now, interestingly, we do have, oh boy, NVIDIA's going to come in and he gets an outpost. That's a really, really big outpost there for DC. He gets one in the backfield.
And Aztec is down as well, so you can drop the outpost again.
This is really, really bad for OC now. They're in big trouble. That was a big play from NVIDIA there. I don't know if, like, OC now really only has time to do one more big push. That's it.
Need to trade outposts.
I mean, these players... I think OC's only hope at this moment is that Steven on the South Hill is able to push through and wipe this squad, and he gets one. He's got to push through, wipe the squad, come down, and buy time for his final squad to re-enter the zone, because right now DC has a big numbers advantage, and they are sweeping South Side in pretty good numbers. Steven, he goes down. He doesn't get what he needs to on that hill, I don't think. Now, really impressively, Breakpoint has stayed alive on the strong point alone. I doubt he has his OP up. I think that's very risky for him to do that with this much time left. Breakpoint stays alive. He takes down another one. 2.5 minutes. This is it. Breakpoint goes down. OC now just has to like mad dash the strong point. That's all they got left. There's no other cute plays left, I don't think. Not enough time.
I kind of feel sad that OC couldn't make it on the southern hill. I really feel like they can outshoot the DC there as well, but it just doesn't happen.
It just didn't happen. And like they had really strong moments, OC on the hill, and they got close, but they could never quite finish. And now, with 2 minutes to go, OC now piling in all of their bodies right around Flak pits. They're going to go for it here. This is it. This is all OC can do is just pile in. DC knows where they're going to come in. DC is stacking decent number of players inside of the circle. OC trying to do something on the South Hill, but I think there's just not like forget about the hill. You know what I mean? There's not enough time. You got to just go to the circle. 90 seconds left. You got to just break through and get capture progress. At least get an overtime. At least get overtime. But I'm just not seeing concentration from OC to do that right now. Just 4 players alive, close to the strong point with just over a minute to go.
Yeah, DC have figured out the positions they want to hold now after by the end of this match.
This is it. This is the final push from OC coming in here. Multiple spawns come in on outposts. They're going to go for it. And this is it. OC in orange on your left, DC in blue on your right. You have an MG just spraying into the smoke there. Still good numbers for OC if they can get towards the strong point. Smoke's coming in all over the place. Squad lead goes down. Squad lead,
all right,
a lot of trading.
Let's trade kills.
A lot of trading going on here for both teams. But like DC doing the right thing, right? They're all consolidating into the strong point. We see some flickering going on. OC getting close. I think they're just losing too many players. I don't think OC's gonna have enough to contest here. 20 seconds to go.
Could be going clutch plays right now. Just had triple kill, I think.
I mean, it's a total chaos and on the strong point right now. But I don't think there's enough players from OC alive to influence cap. This squad has got to move into the circle. 6 seconds. I don't think there's enough here.
He just killed 6 guys.
Yes, and that is game. DC wins loser round 6, 2-1 over OC. They advance to the losers final next Saturday against RO, and OC exits as the 4th ranked team in this tournament. But this was great. I mean, this came right down to the end. These were 2 very evenly matched teams. I think DC just did a better job ultimately of being able to trade, especially when it mattered right at the end. A bunch of clutch kills come in, and OC just not able to get the concentrated needed. And that's it. That's all she wrote. And we are done here. And all of a sudden, Jem, we are down to our top 3 teams. And
wow. This was very quick, actually.
It was very, very fast. We went from 20 teams a month ago, a little under a month ago, and now we are down to just 3. So, Jem, I really want to appreciate you coming in today. This is awesome. You are looking forward to your championship game next week against either Aro or a rematch potentially against DC. We'll see. But this has been a great tournament. I appreciate you coming out and playing, and this has been really, really fun. So we will be back next weekend with live coverage of losers round, the losers final on Saturday, and then the championship game on Sunday. Thanks a lot, Tim.
That's
I
gonna be
appreciate
an
it.
early. That's gonna be an early morning game for you.
Most likely, yes. Thanks a lot, everybody.